We're going to call the meeting to order at 7:02. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Columbia Heights Public Schools Independent School District 13 School Board meeting for Tuesday, September 8th, 2015. If you would, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Again, welcome. Laura, if you would, please do the roll call.
Lewis?
Here.
Landwehr?
Here.
Larkin?
Here.
Nichols?
Here.
Palmer? Here. And Superintendent Kathy Kelly?
Here.
Thank you. Our mission statement. Columbia Heights Public Schools create worlds of opportunity for every learner in partnership with supportive small-town communities by challenging all to discover their talents, unleash their potential, and develop tools for lifelong success. The district's core values are community, excellence, collaboration, integrity, respect, courage, and innovation. And next up on the agenda is the Heights Lights. And tonight the board will honor the Columbia Heights Communications Department for their award won through National School Public Relations Associations. And a suggestion was made by Member Landwehr, and I thought that for the audience that we would let you know what the actual criteria is to be recognized in the Heights Lights. And it's for student and staff expectations. Those that will be honored under Heights Lights are students who place in the top 3 at a Minnesota State High School League state competition, and student or staff who earned a state or national award in other areas. So that's the criteria to be recognized for this. And I have a little spiel, sorry Casey, that I'd like to read. The Columbia Heights Public Schools Communications Department, led by Director Casey Mahon, is the recipient of 3 National School Public Relations Association, or NSPRA, Communications Award. Our Community 2014-2015 calendar was selected for an award of excellence. Our district was one of only 7 districts to be recognized worldwide with the most prestigious of the NSPRA's Publications Award. We were also selected for an award of merit for our comprehensive branding. Our district was one of only 2 in Minnesota to be recognized. And our 2014 World's Best Workforce Annual Report received an award of honorable mention. Columbia Heights Public Schools is the only Minnesota district to be recognized. A total of 919 nominations were accepted from public school districts, private schools, and educational institutions worldwide. Columbia Heights Public Schools is one of only 10 districts in Minnesota to be recognized for this year's awards. NSPRA, at 80 years old, is a worldwide professional organization dedicated to building support and trust for education through responsible public relations that leads to success for all of the students. Okay, very impressive. And what I would like to do, we figure out who's taking your picture? I said I would, but they told me I couldn't touch the camera. So what I would like to do is I'd like to have Casey come up, and we will recognize him for his awards. And we'll go in order here. So the first one is okay, so we're good. Okay. The first one is Publications and Electronic Media Awards. Honorable mention presented to Columbia Heights Public Schools for distinguished achievement in the category of School District Annual Report for the 2014 World's Best Workforce Annual Report. The next one is Publications and Electronic Media Awards, Award of Merit presented to Columbia Heights Public Schools for distinguished achievement in the category of School District Branding Image Package for School District Branding. School District Branding. Again, congratulations. Okay, and then this is from the district. Casey Mahon, in recognition for being selected for an award of excellence, an award of merit, and an award of honorable mention by the National School Public Relations Association. Thank you for your dedication to the students, staff, and community of Columbia Heights Public Schools. This one means the most. Anybody want any comments regarding the awards? An opportunity? Yes.
So are we going to see that award posted in display case in the high school, or is it outside of the body?
The award will be posted, but it may be at the district center. I think there's a plaque that goes with that, and I think that we'll talk with Director Mayon about where that placement's going to be, but it will be posted somewhere.
Okay. And just personal observation, I know that since Casey has started, I think we probably have all seen it, but I personally have noticed a really super hard work ethic and an effort, anywhere from our communications plan to the websites to the literature that goes out to all the people and things. I just want to say I'm talking to Casey. He's busy packing up. He's ready to go home. Take his awards and run. I just want to say personally, I appreciate all your hard work. I don't know that anybody realizes what you're doing behind the scenes. We always see the finished product, and they're always beautiful and very professional. But I, for one, appreciate your hard work and effort in truly the short amount of time you've been in our district. So thank you.
And to have an outstanding award like this, just for in such a short time is an amazing accomplishment. So, congratulations.
All right.
I brought the new literature for all the schools over to the 916 board meeting, and the other board members were pretty impressed. They actually even took pictures of it so that they could show their departments. And they said, these are beautiful. So, yeah, wonderful job. They look absolutely great, and they're very informative, without being, huge. That's a good job.
And I hope the public notices that as well, that we do this for the public to make sure that everyone is aware of what's going on here. So that's another great benefit.
I was looking down. So. Okay, next up is the agenda approval, adjustments, announcements, and correspondence. First up would be the approval of the agenda. If I could get a motion to move that forward, please.
So moved.
Molly?
Second.
Laura, thank you. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Announcement, September 15th, Tuesday at 5 p.m. is the listening session. September 15th, currently scheduled at 5:30 is a school board work session. September 22nd, which is a Tuesday at 7 p.m. regular school board meeting. And October 13th, Tuesday at 7 p.m. is a regular school board meeting. Superintendent Kelly, is there any correspondence?
Mr. Chair, members, there is tonight. There have been multiple correspondence to the board in the form of complaints regarding social media comments made by a school board member, and the school district takes these complaints seriously, and there will be a special called meeting on Tuesday, September 15th, to discuss this matter.
Any other correspondence?
None.
Okay, thank you. Communication to the board, citizen and employee representatives. At this time, any citizen or employee may briefly address the school board. The board will listen to the brief remarks, ask clarifying questions, and if desired, request that administration follow up. The board will not take action at this meeting on requests presented at this time. Is there anyone that wanted to address the board? Once, twice, three times? Okay, moving on to the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of the August 11th and 25th school board meetings, the personnel report, and the treasurer's report for July of 2015. Again, if I could get a motion to move that forward, please.
So moved.
Laura?
Second.
And by Grant. Thank you. Discussion. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion reports, information items, reports from members of the board. Board members will report on board activities since the last regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education. Grant, would you start tonight?
Went to the teacher and staff picnic, and I think it was a pep rally type thing for the. It was pretty cool. Seeing everybody get involved and wearing height stuff. Had did some discussions with other board members. Trying to think of everything that's happened in the last week. I went to, I want to say a sporting event, football game, but I didn't. That was Edison, so I think that's about it, pretty much.
Okay, thank you. Laura?
Well, I did attend the 916 board meeting, and to let everybody know, we did vote on Phase 3 of the three-phase plan, which includes the replacement of Capitol View. Everybody, there was only one dissenting vote, so I guess it was virtually unanimous. So we should be proceeding with that project. That's pretty much it. Actually, I did have a brief meeting about a project, framing project. So more to come forward on that, so, thanks.
Thank you. Molly?
Thank you. I had an opportunity to meet some of the new employees in our district. I went to the new employee orientation last week, as well as for the first time being able to attend the convocation, which was pretty exciting. And being a non-teacher, I had no idea that happens every year and how excited everyone was to be there. It was really neat to see. So thank you for everyone for being there. Also, I had an opportunity to go to a couple of the varsity football games, as well as a couple of the junior varsity football games. Then I attended open houses for both Highland and Columbia Academy last week. Thank you.
Ted?
I had the opportunity to attend the Twin Cities North Chamber of Commerce breakfast for the new teachers. That was a great event, as always, and help introduce some of the business community to the new teachers, and try to build some bridges there. Also attended the convocation and the picnic, always of just high energy, excitement. Everybody's happy to get it started, and I just love the enthusiasm. So I hope that continues the rest of the year. And attended the Columbia Heights Business Council here. Director Holmgren did a great job, and Director Stunkel on introducing and welcoming, and Principal Fort welcoming the business community here, and as we toured Valley View and the new classrooms, and just to give the business community a view of what is going on and how we're meeting the needs of kids here. So thank you for that. And then attended the WEMAP Executive Committee meeting. The big concern with WEMAP now is funding and being able to get up and running and provide the revenue with the new model so that WEMAP then is self-sustaining. It will be using some reserves for a while, it looks like, but hopefully within the next year, WEMAP will be able to sustain itself. And then attended a chair meeting prior to this.
Thank you. I was able to attend the last home football game. I also, for the first time, got to be a part of the convocation this year, and I was told when I walked in by an unnamed source that I would see certain individuals acting as you will not see them throughout the rest of the year, and they were completely accurate. It was a very exciting event, and as Member Landwehr said, I hope that enthusiasm carries forward. I was fortunate enough, I was asked to speak to the group, which was a little scary. There was a lot of people there, but I did come to the conclusion, and I shared this with the group that day, that the reason they had me speak was to let everybody's heart rates come down. They figured, as boring as I was, they'd get a chance to catch their breath before Superintendent Kelly took them into the next level of the convocation. So also was able to attend the picnic, which is always a good time. The weather cooperated with us that day, and a couple open houses here at the high school and Columbia Academy, multiple meetings and our conversations with either the superintendent or members of the board. So, and that concludes my report. Superintendent Kelly.
Mr. Chair and members, I'm going to defer my report in deference of time tonight.
Okay, thank you. Next up is the Teacher of the Year. The board will be presented with information on the Columbia Heights Public Schools Teacher of the Year and greet this year's recipient, Coleman Nemerov. And I understand that, Carl, you're going to speak first. Is that correct? Is that the order? Mm-hmm. We would welcome that. Yeah, please.
I'm Carl Lightbody, teach at Highland, 5th grade. Started the same year that Coleman Nemerov did. And we've been here for a long time together as friends and colleagues. It's been exciting to learn from him over the years. I've picked up some of his sense of humor, learned from some of the books he reads to the kids. We've had many, many conversations on the golf course about how best to reach the kids at Columbia Heights. And I know his mind and his heart is all about the children. And there was nothing that made me more excited than to know that he was chosen as the Teacher of the Year last year. And I'd love to welcome him and introduce him. Coleman Nemerov, Teacher of the Year.
Thanks. Just to give a little background, I've got a Bachelor's of Arts from Carleton College, a BS, and an MED from the University of Minnesota. I've done ornithological research in the rainforests of Mexico. My wife and I imported the top Akita of all time, Akita dog. We do dog shows. I've judged at nationals, having been chosen to do so by Akita breeders throughout the United States. I've won 4 golf tournament scrambles. I've been union president. I've been chief negotiator. I've been treasurer. I've been steward, and now Teacher of the Year. Chosen not just by teachers, but the cream of the crop of teachers, by other Teachers of the Year, and by the union president, Carl Lightbody. But none of these accolades or accomplishments approach the honor that I have received by being welcomed into the hearts and homes of the Columbia Heights students and their families. There's nothing I've ever done in my life that has approached the home visits that I do. And what I want to say to you today, I see the picture up there of William. I had lemon bars at his house. What I want to say to you today is I want you to join me, members of the board, members of the cabinet. I want you to drop me an email tonight, tomorrow, telling me that you would like to be a part of this journey with me, that you'd like to go with me into the homes of our families, because I guarantee it, you will never see a more clear picture of what's important to the families of the District of Columbia Heights. So please keep a few hours open of your future calendars, drop me a line, and we'll take a journey together. Thank you very much.
Don't go too far. You can sit. This might take a minute with me anyway. We have a certificate for you recognizing your Teacher of the Year, but I, on a personal note, would like to thank you for everything that you do. I was a parent that was a recipient of your home visits twice. I feel bad now that we didn't have lemon bars for you when you got there, but
That's okay. I had the hamster in my hand for a while.
I remember that. Yeah, you did, didn't you? That's right. Yeah. I remember the first phone call and going, "What's up with this?" And in hindsight, looking at it and the approach of putting yourself in their environment, so you better understand who they are when they're in your classroom. So over the course of the years that my children attended North Park, we had many interactions. Both of my kids were students of yours. One of my kids broke one of your dogs that was sitting on your desk, and I remember how devastated they were, and we had to go buy you a new one. So many memories of you as a mentor and a teacher, personally as a parent, I truly appreciate everything that you've done, and I think that the award is well deserved. And I say that, from John, the parent, to you. So thank you for everything, all the teachers, but most certainly everything that you've done for my kids. I appreciate it. So,
Thank you.
okay. And then, now you get to come on up. Now the formal part. Coleman Nimrod. Oh, I do have to say one thing. As I was signing this certificate, for years I watched him sign my kids' papers. I finally got to sign one for him now, so I'm pretty excited about that today. Coleman Nimrod was recognized for being named Columbia Heights Public School District 2015 Teacher of the Year. Thank you for your dedication to the students, staff, and community of the Columbia Heights Public School District. Thank you.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Coleman.
All of us do.
See you later. Okay, next up is the Sheridan Story Project. The board will be presented with information on the Sheridan Story Project. Kristen Stunkel, Nicole Hallaby, and Nicole, you're going to have to help me with your last name. Kurji, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Chair Larkin, Superintendent Kelly, members of the board. It's my pleasure to be here with Director Stunkel and social worker extraordinaire, Nicole Hergy, who served at Highland and now is down at the Columbia Academy as social worker. And we're really happy that she stayed late with us this evening because it's really people like Nicole that are making the Sheridan story a great story. And just to our mission, of course, create worlds of opportunities for every learner. And the core values that we really wanted to work to discuss today regarding the Sheridan Project is community, because it really is a community effort. You'll see when Kristen and Nicole talk about it that it is people in our community that are working with the Sheridan Project to get food to our families that need it, and collaboration.
Great. So a little bit of background about the Sheridan story. It began in Sheridan Elementary in northeast Minneapolis, thus the name, and it started with a church that was renting out the space in that school, and the school talked with the church about how they might be able to address issues of hunger over the weekend with their students. And the mission of the Sheridan story is to fight child hunger through community and school partnerships. The focus is on the weekend food gap. So I'm sure you remember that we have this collaboration with SACA, Southern Anoka County Assistance, where we have the food backpack program. That continues. This is another program that we're doing in order to provide food on a regular basis to the same students every Friday afternoon for the whole school year this coming year. And then the Sheridan story provides the logistics in partnership with our school social workers, and Nicole will explain how that works. And then the food that's provided in a plastic bag, one item from each category: veggie, fruit, protein, a base such as rice or pasta, and then some kind of a soup or something of that sort that kind of pulls it all together, which provides the nutrition for the student over the weekend. In 2014-15, they worked with 40 schools. They have expanded for this coming year. And the cost of the Sheridan story for one child for 1 year is $130. A person can set up to have $12 taken out of their bank account every month to sponsor one student. That just gives you an example of how the funding is done. And with our school district, we have been able to partner with community members and also community churches to provide the funding, but individuals can also contribute to the Columbia Heights Sheridan Story collaboration. So now we'll hear from Nicole about how this actually plays out.
All right, so I had the fortunate opportunity to work with some volunteers that were gathered in a partnership between the Sheridan Story and also some local churches, as well as the Columbia Heights Police Department. I worked a lot with Pastor John from St. Timothy's Lutheran Church, and he helped to get a huge amount of volunteers that came every single Friday to distribute the food to students. Now, since it was a pilot program, we opened it up for kindergarten through third graders last year. We sent home a permission slip to all the students in kindergarten through third grade. We didn't want to just send it home to students who, for example, just received free and reduced lunch. We wanted to open it up to all students. And we received an overwhelming amount of replies for families that were interested in the program. We ended with a average of about 85 students per week that were enrolled in this program, and that was just for K through 3. And I just have one experience that I had with a student. He saw me as I was getting ready, the tubs and the bags for one Friday morning, and he said, "Oh, yay, I get food today." And, it almost broke my heart because that we have a really underserved population here in Columbia Heights, and it was a great way for me to see the need, how excited he was, and it just showed how important this one bag of food was for his family. He looked forward to that because he knew that he was going to have meals for the rest of the weekend. So even from teachers, they were really surprised by some of the responses that they got back, because some of the families, it's hard for them to ask for help. They might not even think to turn to the school for help with food. And so a lot of the teachers were surprised by some of the students that did sign up for the program. But in the end, it was a huge success. Kids were really excited. Teachers were really excited. And we had a really good partnership with the volunteers. And it was a really smooth transition that the Sheridan Story helped.
And it was Nicole's organization that really made it so smooth, because she provided to the volunteers the names and the locker numbers for each of the students. And then the volunteers had their clipboards, and so they would go into the locker, into the backpack, which she had made a little discreet label inside for, and then the volunteers would actually put the bag into the backpack and close it up. So no one saw which students were taking home food on Friday afternoons. And so, Nicole, we just really appreciate your organizational skills with that. And because that pilot was so successful, with this next school year, we are expanding to partner also with Valley View. So we have, as you can see, the volunteering and sponsoring partners for each of the schools. The First Lutheran and Heights Church will be, along with the Columbia Heights Police Department, will be volunteering and supporting the Sheridan Story at Highland. And then at Valley View, it'll be St. Timothy's Lutheran Community Methodist and the Columbia Heights Police Department supporting the Sheridan Story at Valley View. You can see that our plan is to serve 39 students as increased funding comes through. In fact, just I think yesterday I got an email saying we can serve 4 more children at each site. So as increased funding comes through, we'll expand the number of students that we'll be able to serve. And we are in communication with the church in the southern Fridley area to partner with North Park Elementary. Are there any questions?
Actually, I do have one. Now, the one thing I don't see on here is how people can get involved. Is there a GoFundMe? How does that process work?
Thank you for asking that. I wasn't sure if I should put a website link up, but if
You
one
should put a
goes,
website
okay,
link. Yeah.
if one goes to the Sheridan Story website, then there is a link where you indicate which school you want to support. At this point, we're just doing Columbia Heights Public Schools. We haven't split it into individual schools. Perhaps we'll get to that point. But if you go on the Sheridan Story website, then you'll be able to click on a donate link, which will then you can identify that you can sponsor specifically Columbia Heights Public Schools partnership. Thank you for asking that.
By any chance at all, do we have a link also on our website?
If we don't, we will very
Okay.
soon.
Okay.
So yes, this is something that we have been working also to get the word out to our colleagues about as well, because there might be members within our school district that would want to support this.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say thank you. I know that's a huge undertaking. It sounds like a really big project, but it sounds like you did a really good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've seen it in process. It's pretty slick and pretty quick, and you're in and out and nice and quiet, and nobody sees it, and the kids just get to take it home. So, yeah, I've seen you working. So, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments?
It's great we have this avenue for people to be involved, and we can partner as part of that. It's very, very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice job. Next up is Blooming Heights and Agricultural Education Update. The board will be presented with an update on Blooming Heights and agricultural education. Director Stunkel and Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie.
Chair Larkin, members of the school board, Superintendent Kelly. We're very pleased this evening to be able to present to you an update about the work of Blooming Heights Edible Schoolyard. We are completing our 6th growing season, and this evening we'll also be talking about our expanded work with agriculture education. As always, this is really aligned with our school mission district about the creating worlds of opportunities for every learner. And one of the things that we're particularly pleased with is how working with Blooming Heights and agriculture education really engages students in hands-on learning. This evening, we'll be talking about the core values in particular of collaboration and innovation. And I think that you'll hear that woven throughout the presentation. And at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Bonnie, who is our agriculture specialist. Her position changed from garden specialist to agriculture specialist as we have expanded the work of agriculture.
Excellent. Okay. I always appreciate the opportunity to talk to the board about what's happening at Blooming Heights, so thank you for letting me be here. And I'm just going to start out by briefly going over some of the highlights from the 2014-2015 school year. And so last school year, we actually had a really significant increase in the number of students who came out to Blooming Heights or who were otherwise engaged in garden programming throughout this school year. So we had 1,382 unique student visits, either to the garden or participating in garden-based learning in their classrooms. And that equaled over 2,800 total garden visits. So what that number shows me and shows us is that we had a lot of students in the district, one, just participating in garden programming, but also participating in it in multiple ways and multiple times throughout this school year. And it was a pretty significant increase from the previous school year when we had 1,800 total student visits. So we had almost 1,000 more last year. And those student visits represented every school in the district, including the family center, and all grades, early childhood through 12th grade. And a lot of different subjects were taught in the garden, and you can see some of them that were listed right there. Another highlight from this school year was the continued work that we've been doing at the North Park Garden Studio. So for those of you who have been here for a couple of years, might remember me talking about it last year. The North Park Garden got started during the 2013-14 school year, and it was an initiative between the third grade teachers and the students who designed and had a big vision for what their courtyard could be. And over the last couple of years, we've been working on bringing their vision to fruition. And this past year, we received a grant from the Minnesota Agricultural Education Leadership Council to allow us to expand and increase the capacity and the infrastructure that we have in the garden so that it can be used as a outdoor learning space for all of the students and teachers at North Park. So we have, moving on to the high school, some of the highlights from last year. The two big things that happened in the high school that I think are pretty notable are we started an after-school volunteer program. So that was working with the AVID teachers and a group of students. And students worked year-round after school, totally their own time, helping to maintain and plan the garden. And so during the course of the year, I had 12 regular high school students who volunteered, and they volunteered for a total of about 70 hours during the school year. And this year, we're planning on increasing and hopefully expanding that volunteer program. And another highlight from the high school was the summer food and natural resources internship that we piloted this summer. And that was an internship program for students at our high school. There were 5 students who participated in it this year, and it was a 6-week program that ran once a week. And students in that program gained just some really great hands-on experience maintaining and working in the garden, but it was also an educational opportunity for them. So we took a tour of the University of Minnesota St. Paul campus and the student-run organic farm that they have there. We also did a tour of a local home orchard and talked to the orchardist there, and students learned how to graft fruit trees and got some feedback on the fruit trees that we have in our garden at Blooming Heights. And one of their big projects for this summer was creating a new garden bed that expands the growing space that we have in Blooming Heights, and that extra growing space will be used to donate more food to the Seika food shelf over the next couple of years. So continuing with summer, we had another really successful year with Adventure Club, and I'm not going to go into all of the details of what we do with Adventure Club, but just as a reminder and just know that we continued some of our really popular weekly programming, especially the harvesting and cooking classes that we do every week that every student in Adventure Club participated in. And we do our weekly garden stand. That's a really huge and exciting hit for the 3rd through 6th grade students. And this year we increased the programming to include a weekly reading hour in the garden for students to have another chance to be out in the garden and experience it in a little bit of a different way. And then continue with the partnership that we have with the Columbia Heights Rec Department. They brought their summer camp students out bi-weekly for different garden exploration and discovery activities. So for this school year, the plan is to continue with the partnerships that I've built with teachers so far, to continue expanding the ways that the academic classes are connected into the school garden in the way that Blooming Heights can really complement what teachers are already doing. So I'll definitely be working on that. And one of the big ways that we're doing that this year is a collaboration with the work seminar class in the high school, and we'll be running a seminar that we're calling Topics in Food and Natural Resources. And with this program, I'll be working with the work seminar class, so that's 25 students. It'll be for a 4-week program, and we'll have 10 different seminars that are really broadly related to food, agriculture, natural resources. And the point of the class is to give students the opportunity to explore different post-secondary and career opportunities that are available in this really big career field that we have. And it stemmed from conversations and this realization that there's a really significant demand and a significant lack of trained professionals and college graduates in the area of food, agriculture, and natural resources. And so the point of this collaboration is to kind of open our students' minds to different possibilities and opportunities that they have once they leave Columbia Heights, especially things that they might not have thought of before. So we'll be looking a lot at the University of Minnesota St. Paul campus and opportunities that are available there, as well as a number of the technical and community colleges in the area. And I'll be looking really specifically at careers that are in this career pathway that students might not think of, but could potentially be interested in. So we'll be piloting that this fall with the intention of also running it in the spring with a different set of students.
And I just wanted to mention that we continue to share what we're doing here in Columbia Heights with the wider audience. So Bonnie and I are both very involved with the Minnesota Schoolyard Garden Coalition, and Bonnie is on the leadership team with that this year. And then also at the end of this month, we'll be presenting at the National and Minnesota Community Education Association's conference about how community education can be involved with edible schoolyards and agriculture education in schools. So thank you very much. Are there any questions?
I just have a comment. The garden is beautiful. I mean, I can't believe how much it has grown over the last couple of years when it was just a couple of, beds and sticks sticking out of there, and now we've got all sorts of fruit trees, and it looks like it's kind of just spreading out. So it's a beautiful place, and I know my daughter goes there with Adventure Club, and she absolutely loves it. And I love the fact that we can use it to teach cooking and canning and art, and just get outside and. It's great. It's great. It's beautiful, and it's great to see that it's really being enjoyed by the wider community. Thank you.
Thank you. We should have mentioned that Bonnie also teaches adult enrichment classes, so adults can be learners in Blooming Heights too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd just like to say thank you and really acknowledge the experiences that the kids are getting out of that. I know that you've probably encountered my children many times, although you may not know who they are, in the garden, and they come home. It's always one of the highlights of their day, whatever it was, if they were with the rec department or at school. And it's just really neat to hear that. And it's being new on the board, I haven't seen a full report on it like this, and it's exciting. I'm really glad that our district has this. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I think our garden is pretty innovative. Not many districts have this amenity for students. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're the only district in Minnesota actually that has a district-wide a garden for students to use.
Is there any way we could use some of the produce to help feed our students too? I just have to ask that as we talked about that.
I would love that. So right now, we almost everything that we grow in the garden is used by students for garden programming. So we do a ton of taste testing and that kind of stuff. Any extra that we have, we do donate to SECA. And during Adventure Club, students take home food as well. We don't have the capacity right now to be able to offer it on a regular basis, but I do like the idea. Yeah.
Anybody else? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next up, the board will be going into a closed session in accordance with Minnesota Statute 13D.03. The board will meet in closed session for the item on the agenda for the purpose of discussing negotiation strategies. We'll go into closed session at 7:44.
And our country and our students. And in previous years in the District of Columbia Heights, teachers have created engaging lessons and activities to promote the Constitution as our nation celebrates this historic event. So some of the activities include reading and analyzing authentic texts, authentic documents from the 1700s and 1800s, and discussing how they apply to modern day or to their lives today. Students write about what freedom means to them, and they also compare our Constitution to those of other countries. So those are some of the activities that they do. So I'm here to ask that you adopt a resolution stating that Columbia Heights Public Schools will celebrate Constitution Week, September 17 through September 23rd, 2015.
I'm happy to move this forward.
I'll second that.
Second.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Let's sit back and relax. This looks like this is a long one.
You could maybe go with the therefore.
And therefore, Where are you at?
Oh, here you are, right here. Did you have a copy?
Thank you. All right, you lucked out, I didn't have to read the long one. Columbia Heights Public Schools, Independent School District 13, Columbia Heights, Minnesota Board of Education, resolution approving September 17th through the 23rd, 2015 Constitution Week. Whereas our founding fathers, in order to secure the blessings of liberty for themselves and their posterity, did ordain and establish a Constitution for the United States, and whereas it is important that all citizens fully understand the provisions and principles contained in the Constitution in order to effectively support, preserve, and defend against all enemies, and whereas September 17th, 2015 marks the 227th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition of this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and whereas the independence guaranteed to American citizens, whether by birth or naturalization, should be celebrated during Constitution Week, September 17th through 23rd, 2015, as designated by proclamation of the President of the United States of America in accordance with Public Law 915. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Columbia Heights Independent School District Number 13 will hereby celebrate the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would say it's very important for everyone to know the Constitution. And I remember in law school hearing how many actually don't read the Constitution. And so I hope we can help improve that here in our district.
Anybody else? Okay.
I think it's awesome.
Okay. No other discussion. Absent Laura. Dawn, if you would you read the roll, please?
Member Nichols?
Aye.
Member Lewis?
Aye.
Member Langner?
Aye.
Member Larkin?
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, thanks, Zena. You got your seat back. Okay. Next up for action items is the employee handbook. Board will be asked to approve the employee handbook book. Presenter is Director Bennett. And Lindsay.
Chair Larkin, members of the board, Superintendent Kelly. I was here at the last board meeting to go over the employee handbook as an information item. No changes have been made. Tonight I'm here seeking approval. Once approved, it'll be posted on our website this year instead of making copies, so I'm saving a little bit of money for the district. So Director Holmgren should be happy about that. And we will direct staff to the website to review the handbook and sign off on it. So I'm here tonight seeking approval.
Okay. Need a motion to move that forward, please?
So move.
Second.
Motion by Ted, second by Grant. Discussion.
Just a question, this is just based on our policies primarily as a district and state and federal law, is that correct?
Yes, it's the stuff by law that we have to have in a handbook, and also some of our policies state that they have to be in our handbook, so those are in there. We do reference other ones that don't have to be directly in an attachment. And then it's also supposed to be, kind of a frequently asked questions to help staff if they just need a go-to guide.
Great.
Any other discussion?
I think that's a great summary for our staff to help them, so I'm in support of this.
Anybody else? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up will be the board will be asked to approve the appointment of board representatives to standing committees due to the resignation of member Meyer. I think there's a couple, three there.
I'd be happy to help out. I could be the liaison to the Family Center,
The
being that I
family.
haven't been over there recently very much.
Family Center?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're looking for AMSD.
I've never done that. What's the commitment on that, Superintendent Kelly, do you know?
One meeting a month, when you are just at the board of director level, and they are at the Ties building, and they run from 7 to 9 on Friday mornings.
I'd volunteer for that.
I can't.
Liz, do you want to?
Thank you.
What?
Would you like to?
It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm free in the mornings too, because I work nights, so it's up to you if you want it. I can do Hilltop too, since I already do Columbia Heights, so.
If you don't mind, I would like to do.
You can take it.
AMSD.
That's fine.
Okay. So Molly, you said the Family Center.
Sure.
Ted, you're interested in AMSD. Grant, you said you're interested in Hilltop Liaison. Okay, so I have a replacement for the liaison to the City Hilltop, member Nichols, Association member Metropolitan School Districts, member Landwehr, and the liaison effective through January 31st, 2016 for the Family Center, member Lewis. Could I get a motion to move that forward, please?
So moved.
Molly,
Second.
Grant, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay. Board topics.
I just want to mention tomorrow, there's a Joint Powers Board meeting of the WEMAP Joint Powers Board. We'll be meeting with superintendents of the member districts including Superintendent Kelly, to talk about the future of WEMAP and how WEMAP can best serve our member districts. And that will be at the Richfield boardroom for the Richfield School District at 5:30.
Okay. Anybody else, board topics? Okay. Hearing none, we will adjourn the meeting at 9:16.